3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Clubhouse. It's episode 2.
That was the most chaotic
squeakle.
That was good. I'm gonna cut you out of the entire body. All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 2. We're glad you made it.
Yeah.
We didn't even think we made it.
No. We got a lot of good reception with episode 1, and I think we should definitely continue this. So 2024 is a huge year. I firmly believe that, and I feel like all of us have a lot in store for the new year, and I definitely want to see and hear what everybody has to talk about to see what they want to do. We have a lot of time, we have a lot of resources and tools, and there's no excuse for us to kind of not go hard.
We're on the grind set. 2024.
Grind set. Home.
This is the year, guys.
I want to hear what Paloma has to say because I know that her year is big. I know that there's a lot to be fulfilled for herself.
Tell us about your year. Whoa, no.
I don't know about all that.
I have a lot of ideas and plans. I just need to execute them. So I want to start singing and dancing more often because I want to add that into my skill set. I also want to learn how to do self-defense.
Ooh.
Okay, but I want to hear from you, Luke, actually.
My 2024, I just have a few goals. I want to start college, which I'm going to be doing in the next week or two. So that's starting off the year strong, starting college. I want to start filming more projects, and me and Nico have a really exciting idea for some stuff we're going to be filming soon, if you want to talk on that later. I just want to film more content, going out to LA more, get myself in the acting space out there, especially. Yeah, and I just want to keep creating stuff here and build up the Clubhouse and build up the Chaos Made name, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a whole different ball game for you now that you're 18 and going back into LA.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now
I'm looked at a completely different light. 100%. It's totally different. The second you turn 18, different jobs, different pay, agents treat you differently. It's pretty crazy.
Game.
Yeah, whole different ball game.
So that's my 2024. Jade.
Jade?
Yeah, nappies in a row. Come on.
All right. Hey, fellow nappy across
Shoot
the
the
table.
shit. Come on. So what you're doing with this year, this fresh year, fresh start. What's in the books for Jade Nappy?
I'm existing. I'm here. I'm gonna get more into modeling. That's a goal of mine. You know.
Any music related things? That
Yes, music related things will be happening.
DJ related things?
Yes. I should get back into DJing. That is
Yeah,
a thing
you
I
should.
really
You promised me a song. So we were listening to a song that I was showing her. I found it on TikTok, and I was playing in the car, and she randomly started singing "Viva La Vie" from Coldplay over the beat, and it matched perfectly.
Yeah.
And it was really scary. And she promised me.
I was like, wait, just listen to me. So I sang the whole song over this like.
Yeah, I'll
remix
find
that
it
we
again. She promised me a song, and she hasn't made it yet.
No,
so
that's
2024. That's your goal. Make a song.
And then I'll do it. More modeling. Going over to Japan, of course.
Okay, yeah.
That's gonna be a
Okay,
thing.
okay.
Get a visa of sorts over there. School, work.
School
whatever
in
it
Japan?
is.
Konnichiwa. So that's Jade's goals.
That's my goal.
Good job, Jade.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, just being more creative in general. There we go.
So Victoria,
Wait, before we start with Victoria, Paloma has to go, unfortunately.
right now?
So any last words before you...
I'm a little concerned as to what I'm going to watch after this episode comes out.
Me too.
Everybody, that was Paloma. You see, she's so good that we have to save her. We can only get her for a few minutes at a time each podcast, so
Very
you
busy
can really
woman.
savor the time that you have with her. So, Paloma, thank you for your wise words.
Oh, wait, that was so cute.
Love you,
Go have fun
Paloma.
at John's basketball
I'm
game.
going to go work now.
All right, everybody, say bye, Paloma. If you're watching the video, comment down below. Bye, Paloma.
Bye. Love y'all.
Bye.
We are back. You might notice we are missing a guest
Yeah.
of the Clubhouse. Paloma, she unfortunately had to go, but she'll be back again. So don't miss her too much. She'll be back.
In the meantime, we were talking about what we all kind of set out goals for ourselves in this new year.
So, Nico, what's your goals?
So my goals for the new year are big. Coming into ending 2023, I realized I ended in an entirely different place that I started 2023. 2024, I have a lot of projects coming up. I have a documentary that I'm currently editing and that I hope to have some huge traction with because it's with one of my favorite friends of all time, Dimitri, and it's about his life as an artist in Miami and during a time when art means the most, which is Art Basel. So that's going to come out sometime this year, and I want to see sometime this year.
Shout out Dimitri.
Shout out to Dimitri. He's going to be on here soon. That's one of the big projects I want to work on. Other than that, I do want to get more content out. I want to feel comfortable as a content creator and definitely get that going into my life.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Excited for
Good
this job.
shit.
Looking good.
Good job,
Yeah.
Nico.
So, Victoria, what do you have planned in 2024?
So my 4 goals for 2024 are finishing my Italian classes because I have 1 year left, and getting into martial arts. And the other 2 is getting my 2 business that I already currently work with, but just making it like more professional. So it's running the runway coordination thing. Yeah, the model boot camp, putting out more sessions for the model boot camp and training more girls. And the last one is my art business, which I currently already make custom art, and they're very exclusive in a sense. So I just want to broaden the audience and then making getting to like making prints of my paintings, and finding a way to broaden the audience for the wood burning. So that's it.
Beautiful.
Are you and Paloma gonna start martial arts at the same time? You're gonna be like sparring in the studio from now on. Just like we're walking with the iron claw.
So the next step is getting to stunt training. So, but this is not for now. I want to do the martial arts first and then get into the stunt training. Because I mean, stunts for films and everything, it's mostly choreographed on site already. So I don't need to have super deep knowledge into it right now.
But it's good to know how to throw a
It's
punch,
good.
take a fall,
Absolutely.
throw somebody,
Absolutely,
kill him
but
if you need. But you know,
I agree with you.
So
so
before we get into more, last and final person here because
Pookie.
he is insane right now. He's literally on the grind every day.
Mr. Freddie, Mr. Andres,
Let me ask you.
Thank you, Pookie.
Andres.
What's the question?
So
Take it away.
in 2024, what do you plan for yourself to accomplish?
All right, so 2024 starting.
Yeah.
Right, first thing.
Yeah.
Blackwell Sessions.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is Blackwell Sessions?
Shout out Blackwell
For
Tell
Sessions.
us
those that
more.
Don't know. Blackwell Sessions every week is gonna be coming out with different artists. So if you want to find out the artists that are emerging out of Miami, go check out Blackwell Sessions.
Check
Second.
out Blackwell.
Second.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I got an internship
Ooh.
at a music company.
Ooh.
So we're doing a lot of events. So that's coming. Full freelance. So we're just gonna start making a company that is gonna get its own clients. It's gonna be working out of the studio, and we're gonna do it in everything. Fourth, I want this podcast to be reaching out to people.
Yeah.
Right? So in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. As much as you love hearing about us, I think they're gonna get a very valuable thing out of this podcast if we start showing them a little bit of the things that we've done up to this point without speaking about ourselves.
Yeah.
So we have actress, artist, musician, director, pretty much everything.
Oh, Pookie, stop it.
So how can we make this podcast be more valuable for people? What can we share? What
That
can we
is a
share? Give me
great
one
question.
thing that we
That's-
could all share right now.
I think truly I think you just mentioned it, but it's about giving a space to other artists here as well, beyond us, but other creatives that we know.
So let's talk about that. We talked about ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? So now let's talk about other artists. So let's say it's 2024. There's an artist that hasn't done anything. Right? And he or she wants to get into creative space.
Yeah.
Whether it's acting, whether it's painting, whether it's music, whether it's directing, whether it's filming, whether it's doing anything. What's the first step?
Is it like a generalized first step for all of us, or is it like
What's the first step?
Does it depend on the
It's
art or the-
whatever you want to say. What's the first step?
I'm gonna say it's all about who you know in this industry. As talented as you may be, if you don't have the right connections, you're not gonna get.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that was the
wait,
first
but
step.
Pause.
Well, hang on.
Pause. Let's say that you know everybody.
Yeah.
What are you gonna show them?
What am I
yeah,
gonna show
definitely.
them?
What are you
So
gonna show
definitely the first step I would say, if I don't have a portfolio to show to anybody, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the
So
portfolio.
the
is
first thing you have to
The
do
first
is
thing
do
is
it.
working your skills and then having a portfolio, having a showcase. Having things to showcase is the most important thing you can have as an emerging artist, because you have to have some kind of portfolio for people to see what you do. Because talking about it only takes you so far.
Exactly.
All right. So
That's great.
the first thing you have to do is you have to do stuff.
And I would say same thing for actors as well. Making a reel, even if you haven't been in anything, look monologues, look up scenes, have
True.
somebody read
Yeah.
with you. That's your reel. Doesn't matter what you've been in. If you've been in a million things or nothing at all, make a reel.
It's showcasing.
Short
Showcasing.
films, student films is
Even
good
for directors,
exposure.
even for directors too, they have to make reels. They have to go out, shoot some stuff, shoot local.
Pick
shoot,
up your damn camera and film something now.
Yeah, it's important for yourself to get out there in any aspect, whether it's small or whether it's big, insignificant, whatever you want to consider. It's worth it in the long run because it's going to add to your portfolio. That's what matters the most. It could be like the worst thing on earth. It could be like a cheap commercial. Doesn't matter. It's going to add to your portfolio. You know.
You know, you can work on your little things as you go, and documenting everything that you're in, basically.
You're not a magician. You're not going to pull a rabbit out of your hat just to impress them at the moment. You have to build before you get to that point, or else they're going to choose somebody else who has done all that. Like, you could go to these schools for, film and all this stuff, learn film theory, et cetera, et cetera. But if you get out and you try to get jobs based off that alone, you're not getting anywhere. You're not getting anywhere because there's nothing on your portfolio. There's no directing. There's no reel. There's nothing. So why would they choose you, who went to NYU and film, if you have nothing, versus the kid who didn't go to film school, who comes from a small town and has this entire short film list. Not the best short films, but they're short films. There's like 17 of them.
I love the answers. However,
Yours is the correct one.
yes, absolutely. I want everyone to be a little bit more specific. So we all do our own things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I love what you guys have said of you need to have a portfolio, but I want to get specific. So with acting, how do you start your portfolio? Like, what do you need to do right now if you're an actor and you don't have anything out there and you want to start getting
Let's
Like
both,
I
let's both
so
talk
like
on
I
this,
said,
yeah.
create every account for every acting platform, Backstage, Actors Access, Anyone that you can
Those are the
think.
names I want to hear. Like,
Okay, so Actors Access,
Is
Backstage,
casting
Networks.
Yep.
Yes. And then reach out to agents.
Get headshots. Headshots are a very crucial part to acting. They don't have to be
the best.
the best in the beginning, you know, but get a good solid headshot. Make sure it looks like you, not distracting, just you.
And what I was going to say is it's all about who you know. But if you don't know anybody in the industry, reach out. Follow people that you like on Instagram. You can reach out to agents. And that's how one of my very close friends got with the agent he's with now. He literally just commented on their Instagram saying, hey. And they responded.
wow.
And
So
now he's
reaching
signed with
out,
them.
reaching out to agents. What should you say? Like, what's the normal?
Depends on the
paragraph?
person.
What
depends
are you
on
telling them?
I haven't done that personally, so
Yeah.
I have to get a little more specific. But
So how did you guys do it?
I got
You kind of got he kind of got scouted. We told the story on another
last
On the last
episode.
episode, we told the
last
story about
episode.
them.
He got scouted, and then we both just kind of did an interview type thing. I believe we did an interview.
Quick
And
little
then-
monologue, but that was in person at the
That was in person.
Yeah.
agency, and that's when back in the day when
Things
self
have
tapes
definitely
weren't.
changed now.
So
Weren't
now
the main thing.
now it has switched to self tapes.
Yeah, I would say 100%. You can definitely reach out to agents and stuff and do it almost all virtually.
So if
I
you're an
know-
actor,
Everything.
actress, all you need is a self tape. Send it out to somebody.
A lot
reach
of
out.
agencies have websites where you can apply to be in the agency, but you know, honestly, do stalking. Go on LinkedIn. Go find out who works. Go message people and send your shit to
And
them.
if you get lucky and you get an in-person casting, which is very rare nowadays, talk to everybody. Make friends.
true.
Because people are always shooting things. People are always looking for extras or
and if you make a friend who's an actor, they could recommend you to their agency.
which
you know,
has happened many, many times at the studio. So yeah, it's about
100%.
being outgoing. I mean, in specifically acting, you have to put yourself out there. Nobody's gonna fight for you in the beginning except for yourself.
also going back to reels, find a good monologue that suits you. Best
Watch
fits
your favorite
range.
show.
Yeah, watch your favorite show. Find a monologue. They're pretty easy, from favorite character, whatever. Something that you can connect to and bring range. Range is very important in a reel. So do that. Ask somebody to film it yourself, and just throw that on whatever.
And if you
know,
feel
with
like you're
your
not getting
application.
the performance that you want, almost every agent has their favorite acting coach near you or online. So if you're not feeling that confident with your performances, you can always reach out to fellow actors or to coaches.
Yes.
Wow.
That is
So this
true.
would be the
So
if I was getting
I
in
want
right
to
now.
add, this is something that I do with my students at the model boot camp. So for context, I have one thing that is called the model boot camp, and I have girls that attend to my workshops, and I tell them everything about the industry, everything related to like freelancing as a model, having an agency, whether or not you want to have an agency or whatever, and how to get into it. And it goes basically the same thing for models. So you gotta have good digitals.
What are
Yeah.
digitals? What all? You know, you're throwing out words. We want to know
What are
exactly
you
what
Talking
you're
about over here.
I'm gonna explain it.
English,
So,
please.
You can put together your own comp card.
What's a comp card?
That's your business card as a model, right? And that consists of like usually it's just like one close up of your face, half body, and then a full body in front of the camera and then like on side. Yeah, so that's basically it. And then one on the back of the card, just like one that is like more glamorous and whatnot. But the digitals they can be in either just like plain black clothing or bikini. And it really depends on what you're going for. Start modeling if you want to be assigned a model. What you got to do is take digitals and follow the requests that the agencies ask for their website. You can apply basically to any agency in the country through their website. And if you want to just freelance as a model on Instagram or something else, on Backstage again, casting networks, they're very good platforms. You just gotta have the material. So get your friend, rent a studio on like Peerspace or something. They have like tons of studios there. Just go there. You can do it with your phone. Just make sure they get good shots, and then build like this little portfolio of you, just like a little showcase. Doesn't have to be anything super fancy. And then if you're freelancing, just build your own little portfolio on Instagram as your Insta page.
You can also reach out to smaller photographers, because a lot of small photographers are trying to build their portfolios as well. So
That's a
you know,
great
I think
point.
it's time for print
Yeah.
or whatever it is. But reach out to smaller photographers, schedule something, because it gives you content, it gives them content. It can be completely for free, just exchanging
Exactly,
time.
and you get, and if you're coming from nothing,
Yeah.
you get like experience, like in front of the camera, so you don't freeze while you're posing.
Do research, figure out what poses work for you, modeling, like literally stare at
Because
yourself in the mirror
honestly,
for hours.
at the end of the day, you're just gonna learn this little flow, and you're gonna repeat that forever. And if you want further assistance, reach out to me. We have a new model boot camp coming
the
back
app there.
in February. We have another session happening in Miami.
Ooh, nice.
Nice plug.
Comment
Nice
down
plug.
below if you're gonna be there.
So, from what I'm hearing, is that a lot of modeling and acting kind of intertwine in each other, which is really
100%.
amazing. Now, now
let
for
me
the
add,
different
let me
world.
add one thing. So I started acting because my modeling agencies, they were like, Victoria,
They want personality.
it would be great for you. Like, you're a great model, but it would be great for you because you do a lot of print. It would be great for you to get into commercials as well. Take a few acting classes, and that's how I got into Universal. So there's definitely a correlation between modeling and acting.
Definitely.
Mingle.
So modeling and acting are together. What were you saying?
I was gonna say that now that these worlds seem so familiar with each other, for you now, I want to hear from you. How do you get started as somebody who wants to get into music, as a musician, solo artist, or even as a band?
As a member of Crush Company, shout out Crush Company.
Crush Company. Shout out Marco.
Love you, baby.
Shout out to Marco, for real, for real.
Marco, you a G.
Love that man.
So yeah, for music nowadays, it's very simple. You just need computer and good headphones. If you want to get into the musician route, just learn theory, learn the music by itself, jam out with people, get
How did
connected
you
with
learn theory?
I started when I was around 8 years old, and I did classical theory. So I did all of music without an instrument. It was only writing and only listening. Through that, I was able to play different instruments. Nowadays, people just want to, I want to learn guitar, or I want to learn piano. So you learned an instrument, and then you get stuck there. Just learn your theory. Same with all other like arts. If with acting, if you act with other people and you just know how to do different things, whenever somebody tells you to do something specific, you know how to do it. Nowadays, you just need a computer and good headphones. If you want to start doing music, all you have to do is really find people to do music with. Don't do it alone. But it's the same thing with everything. You just have to reach out to people, connect, and do everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually very simple. It's just an oversaturated market. There's around 60,000 songs being uploaded to Spotify every single day, and they make around 0.005 cents a stream. So being a musician is not about making money; it's about doing it for the joy of it. But yeah, that's kind of how you do it in music nowadays. It's a very sad industry, but for the musicians, it's very fun. You're not gonna make money off of it right away, but you have to do it for the love of it.
It's very competitive. Yeah.
How long did it take you to see some growth with your music?
Came down to the fact of meeting people. You know, I've always done music, and then one day somebody reached out to somebody's dad's friend of somebody's cousin that just randomly said, I like your song, I want to sign you guys. So they put money into it, and then because of that money, we were able to grow. So I would say that if you're trying to do music as an artist yourself, find an investor. You need to find money. That's the first thing that you need, because with money, you're going to be able to get the equipment, you're going to be able to promote it, and you're going to be able to manage yourself. If you don't have all of those things and you don't have the money for it, you're not going to be able to grow. The music is going to be great, and now with social media and TikTok, everything is, it's kind of booming. But even for somebody like myself who's not that big, it's a struggle to find that balance between the love of music and the love for what people want to see, because then you have Instagram trying to show you what you want to do. There's a trend, I need to put my song into that trend. No, just do your own thing, right? I think as an actor, artist, musician, whatever you want to do, don't get involved with all these kind of channels that everyone is doing. Do your own thing.
Yeah, don't fall into the machine of being.
Don't fall into the machine, because as artists, we're going to find that and be like, they got so many views because of this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then you start doing that, you're realizing, why didn't I get that many views? Well, you're doing something that somebody else already did. If you want to, like when musicians say, I want to make a song like this artist, that artist already exists. Why would you do something like them?
Yeah.
They already got signed. It's been 2 years ago since that song was produced. Why are you going to do something that's already been done?
Yeah.
Same with all art. Why are you going to do something that is not unique and original?
You can be inspired, but the objective is to separate yourself from whatever's already been
Absolutely.
out there.
Still like an artist. Don't copy it, but take ideas from things that you see.
Yeah.
That is so, no, that's actually amazing. You know how
Stole that one from Victor. Shout out Victor.
Pharrell Williams and Robin Thicke, what was that?
Blurred Lines.
Blurred lines.
Blurred Lines. That song was sued by Marvin Gaye's family because apparently he stole the groove of the song. How do you steal
What
the
is
groove?
a groove?
You can't have that.
Can
groove.
you
That's
describe what a groove is?
I don't even know how to describe a groove is, but somebody got sued for copying it, right? Now it's just a weird time because everything is being reproduced.
So, Nico. We've all given our 2 cents.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I mean, you're pretty much a micro celebrity when it comes to Miami Instagram
That is so
content.
true.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
A lot of people know you. So how did you get started? How'd you get started filming?
Getting started filming, it took a long time for me to kind of get confident into my content, because I had just, I've always wanted to do film, but I never really put the foot forward into getting the resources and the tools and all this stuff. But it was when in high school, some Canon, and my friend sold it to me for $20, and I'm like, you know what, this is a sign for me to push forward into that. I've met so many, people who do video work, people who are DJs, people who do art and stuff, and it's like connecting with them, being on the same wavelength of visions and stuff. It's such an opening kind of like feeling, and I mean I don't know how to answer this.
You picked up a camera. You got a Canon.
Yeah.
What was your first project?
Who was your inspiration when you started filming? Because you have a very distinct style, I've noticed.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Who's your
I really,
inspiration?
really like your style. Your style is very chill.
He's his own inspiration.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who do you look up to when it comes to filming?
The vibes are
I'm
immaculate.
trying to be
Let
honest,
him
it's-
answer.
Let the man speak. Shut the man speak.
It's always been Virgil Abloh. It's always been Virgil's stuff. Just the pop of color with the contrast of like black and white, how he can bounce between that. It's something I've always wanted to achieve with my work visually, and it's like just overall his stuff. But my first project was just a full-on like short film based on I think one of the acts of Romeo and Juliet. It was for a final for school, and I decided to be director with my friend being DP on it. And he brought his camera, but at the same time, what are you laughing at?
No,
Where's Dot Nico?
Where's Dot Nico?
God damn it!
Sorry, go for it.
Go.
Go for it.
What? Whoa. Where's Nico?
All right. So you had a project, and let me ask everybody else. How do you plan a show or a short film or a movie? Like, what are the steps to actually making it happen? You have an idea for a good,
Luke and I are actually involved in a production that's being planned
This weekend.
this weekend. Yeah, I think I'm
Tell us about that.
hair, makeup, wardrobe. You are
I'm first DP.
first
And
DP.
Camera.
But wait,
Awesome.
okay. Before we get into that specific, what are the big sectors for that?
Yeah.
Like ADDP, like you.
Do you come like ranking or like what the
Yeah.
jobs do?
You don't have to rank them. I just
No,
want to
no,
know
no,
what the
like what they
jobs
do.
come into.
Okay, so DP is director of photography.
Okay.
And they're basically the ones who.
They're holding the camera. For the most part.
Well,
Haha.
they are the ones who come up with the idea of the shot.
Of
They're-
the physical, like the composition.
What
and
it looks
everything.
like.
Okay.
What it looks like and how you're going to shoot it pretty much. Then if you get in bigger productions, you're going to have gaffers and grips and stuff like that to help you. And at that point when you're shooting $1 million
Gaffers and grips are people who run around the set, grab shit, gaff.
They
Gaff
do-
comes from gaff tape.
yeah,
You know?
they do everything that
You know.
is a little too tedious for the
Yeah.
people who are big ideas.
And this is all part of the shooting.
production,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so production is the name of the group.
Yes.
production, yeah.
What are the groups?
So it's production, cast, and then when it comes to production, it's very all-encompassing. That could be
Yeah.
post-production, which is editing, coloring, audio. Pre-production could be planning,
Production as a whole is
locations,
just everybody who makes it happen.
and then actors, cast. What I was gonna say is DP is director of photography, so they're one who comes up with what the shot's gonna look like and how you're gonna achieve that, what camera you're gonna use, what lens you're gonna use, what settings, all that stuff. And if you're on a big set and you're the DP, all you're gonna have to do is look at something and be like, "That, I want that," and then
Somebody
everybody else
give
is gonna
this to
go
me.
do that. But when it comes to smaller budgets, DP could usually be director of photography and the director for the actors and the cameraman
That's true.
when it comes to smaller sets. So I'm first camera op, which is camera operator and DP. So I'm gonna come up with some shots and I'm gonna hold the camera.
So there's the people that are working on the production. There's the actors. Is there anybody outside of that?
That's post production. That's after
Well,
everything's shot. That's
Depending on the set you're on, you have hair, makeup, wardrobe.
I'd consider them production.
Yeah, definitely. But the list
Yeah, the
the list
small-
goes on.
I want to focus on small budget.
Small budget.
Nobody
Ooh,
here
yeah.
in this table is, doing
Rich.
those kind of projects by themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that too. That too.
Yeah.
We're doing the projects that we can do
Yeah.
with the team that we have, just like this podcast. And
Yeah.
even though we have really good equipment, this was made basically by these two, right? So
Shout
we're
out.
working in small productions. So how does a small production work? Even what is that term called, like micro budget?
Micro budget films, yeah.
So like up to that.
So I filmed 2 shorts so far, and I was DP and camera op for both of them. So the first one I did, it was very small budget. I mean, it was a student film. It was my friend's
Do you
high
know how
school.
much the budget was?
Approximately $0. I mean,
Yeah. Student films are usually $0.
$0.
So
It's just-
nobody's getting paid. Everybody's doing it for the experience.
no, not
Exactly.
really. Yeah.
Do you think that's? I mean, I think it's
As
worth
long
it.
as
Do
it's,
you
Oh,
as
think
long
it's worth
as
it?
it's mutually beneficial. I mean, everybody's getting something out of it. Everybody's getting something for real. The actors, the editors, everybody gets something out of it. They get a project to show, hey, I was on this and we finished it, which is a lot more than people can say. Most people can say
Yeah.
is that you actually filmed something and got it out the door. So the first one, it was a short, and my friend wrote it and he was directing it, and budget was $0. So I filmed it and my friend filmed it, and we used our friend's house and we edited it all here. So it was all really just people that we knew in the industry and who were excited and willing to help. I mean,
You
everybody
also-
reached out to were really excited.
You've acted in a few. I mean,
I've acted in-
likewise, but yeah, we've both done mainly you.
And what do you do? What you finished? So first, you have no budget.
You have no budget.
You have people that
Let's-
are gonna do it.
let's
and
start
you
with the
finish
script.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything starts with the script. You find
your
somebody.
storyline.
You get somebody who has a story and they want to tell it. So they reach
That's
out.
the first thing. You need to get them.
That's the
idea.
most important thing, because filmmaking is all about telling the story.
What happens after the script?
So the person who wrote the script, they find somebody who wants to direct it, film it, and act in it, probably and edit it. Those are the four key things I would say. So you reach out to director or DP. These are all people you know. If you're in the business, you probably know somebody who either wants to get into it or has been in for a while.
Or you put a casting out.
And you put a casting out. You could literally post on Instagram saying, "Hey, I'm filming from these dates to these dates. Who wants to?"
That's the way to do it right now.
Yeah. So then from that probably goes to storyboard, which is figuring out key moments in the script, what you're going to cut, what you're going to trim, stuff you need to add for context and continuity.
Briefly composing shots too, kind of setting up the vision for it all.
Storyboards are literally just comic books, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's little pictures for two or three pictures
for the
every
short
scene.
that he was talking about earlier, I storyboarded it, and it was just a cartoon outline, basically, of every single scene that
Yeah.
was going to be portrayed.
And after
Have the script and storyboard.
then you start getting the actual production.
Well,
Pre-production, which is finding locations.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
Locations,
county.
actors, makeup, wardrobe, and if you don't have a budget, the actors do it themselves. They're their own makeup artists. They're their own wardrobe.
Yeah.
yeah.
So then once you have that and you have the actors,
And then you have
start filming.
locations confirmed. You
Okay.
pick a time and a date,
Call sheet.
call sheet,
Yeah.
and then you can either coordinate through group chat, whatever. And that's what we're doing for the project right now. Everybody's just talking in a group chat, figuring shit out. So then you actually go to production, which is it could be either really easy or really hard depending on who you're working with.
Well, wait, can I say for micro budgets for
Yeah,
production?
yeah.
When you find your locations, if you're a college student or there's no budget for permits, it is it is a game of don't get caught, basically, or too many
Straight up
times.
This is not legal advice.
Because depending on where you film, you're gonna get kicked out a lot or moved around or moved like shoot away, and it becomes a challenge of okay, now we gotta get the shot, but like we gotta time it in this little interval, or else we're gonna get cops
Yeah.
on us, all this stuff.
So you run through all these issues in the production.
Yeah,
Let's
there's
say-
always something that goes wrong.
Let's say
Every
that
time.
you get done with it. And
So
you're
yeah.
one of those lucky ones.
Yeah.
Post-production
Post-production?
is editing.
Editing, and
Editing.
most of the time it's either the director or
An editor.
somebody
homie.
else. Yeah,
Sure.
you could get an editor homie. And my one thing I would say is don't use iMovie. Even though it's free, there's a
Yeah.
lot of other great, much better
DaVinci.
programs.
DaVinci is free.
DaVinci's free.
Yeah.
Da Vinci's free.
DaVinci is
DaVinci
free.
is free.
DaVinci is free.
Well, one version is. The other is a little
well,
more.
I mean, I've been working for the past year doing video after I graduated, and I had Premiere from school. Then I lost that, and I didn't want to pay for Premiere, so I got DaVinci. And I think 2 weeks ago, Vic was like, "Yo, do you want the key for the studio version?" That was a full year of working for smaller
Yeah.
companies. Obviously, I'm not doing full movie productions, but I'm doing little edits, and I could do it for free. So
Yeah.
the equipment is there. You
Yeah.
can now iPhones film so well, they edit so well, but you find your friends, you get the pre-production, production, post-production, you get, let's say that you edit it, and the project is done.
Well, not always. 99% of the time you have to do pickup shots.
That's
Which happens-
What is pickup
Pickup
shots?
shots are things that you either missed
Shit,
or...
I forgot this.
Yes.
Everybody
Yeah.
get together. We have to film this immediately.
So you
After
edit,
production.
And you usually
As you
notice
edit.
it as you edit. You're like,
Okay.
well,
Yeah.
because there's no way to know in the moment.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask actress, right?
Actress.
Because we got the DP's perspective.
Yeah.
How does it feel? How does it feel in that whole process? Before the movie starts, what are you doing? You get a call, you apply.
Yeah,
you-
specifically in this situation with our friend, we're friends. He reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I want to do this project. I want you guys to film it. I want you to be the lead in it. Will you do this?" Yes, of course. Then I get the script. I start memorizing my lines. That's very important. Know your shit before you get to set. Have an idea of the character. Talk, if you're friends with the person, you can talk to them. Hey, what vision do you have? How do you want me to portray this? What can I do to bring your story to life? So get there, get on set, just mentally prepare yourself is the best I can say. Stay in your character. I mean, you don't have to be method,
Yeah.
but just, stay focused.
And by all means, a lot is going to go wrong. A lot will be frustrating. And the worst thing you can do is to take that frustration out on other people on set, because then that just creates havoc for the entire thing.
That's really important. I've been on a lot of sets where people will get frustrated and then they take it out on the actor because the actor's the one in the scene and something's not working. And as an actor, you're trying to stay in the moment and be present in your character, stay focused on your lines. But if somebody's if the light keeps turning off and people are yelling at each other, it's a little distracting and they get cranky and
you lose full productions like that. I've seen
Yeah.
that before. I've actually been a PA on one where the actor and the DP were just beefing constantly throughout it. That DP walked away. They had to get a new one. They had to delay it by like 2 weeks because they couldn't find a DP that would continue with it, because there was a whole thing there. And it's important to always have like a team mentality with it. You're not the only one you're not the only one on production.
if you think you're the shit, you're not.
Exactly.
You're not the shit.
And the most important thing in productions, a lot of times where it falls apart, is the communication and egos.
100%.
True. This is all very similar to like modeling sets. I've seen models get dropped all the time because they just have an attitude, or the photographer is gonna happen to have one, and then I've seen makeup artists not getting along with the models.
Yes.
and it just happens. Like
They fuck up your makeup real quick. You're gonna look real bad.
No, literally.
Honestly, like if the makeup artist, I mean, I've gotten secretly upset at a makeup artist before, but I've never said anything. But like they do something and you're like,
I
don't
do
like the
have
way
a
this
little
looks.
story time.
Yeah.
Start time.
I'll just run over it. It's just like we had this makeup artist that had worked with this model previously, and we were shooting a campaign. It was 3 of us for a bikini brand in Brazil, and for whatever reason, he messed up her makeup on purpose, and I'm not kidding you. It was truly on purpose.
On purpose?
Wow.
On purpose.
What they do?
They dropped her.
Oh.
Because she was not looking good on camera. She was because of course, like, she knew she was different at the time, and then it made her really uncomfortable. And then she was not performing, and on the eyes of the person that is like directing the whole scene, they were like, okay, yeah, so if you're not performing, like, we're gonna call up another girl that we have backup. And that's what happened, and it all unraveled like 2 weeks later when we all met on set again, and the story was told. It's hard to happen things like this in like bigger settings, but like in small sets, it definitely does.
It definitely does. Yeah. Like I had problems with the kids who like weren't actors but clearly were in it just to act, and it's like who wanted to do it, but we ran into problems with communication and all this stuff, and it's very difficult as teenagers with angst to communicate, and it's like you run into that, and it could really just put a dent into not only your career but your friendships that you develop like in the business, because that's how you lose them sometimes.
Man, just don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
just don't take it personal.
Don't burn bridges on set either.
And if you're
Don't
hard to
do
work
that.
with, word gets around.
Oh, it
Big
gets
time.
around
Doesn't
quick.
matter what state, city, country you're in. People will know your name if
Yeah.
you're hard to work with.
They know.
You're gonna
Yeah.
you're not gonna get work.
So
That's
now
it.
we know. Pre-production, there's production. There's a lot of issues in both of those. There's post-production where you may even have to go back to production.
And if it's
Exactly.
a smaller team of editors, it's gonna be much easier. But unless there's a one shared vision that everybody can agree on, then multiple editors can get a little tricky sometimes.
May I add something that is like a big lesson that I got from the studio?
Yeah.
If you spend on time on pre, you don't have to waste your time on post.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like Vic.
And that's a huge thing.
Proper preparation
So
can prevent a lot of wasted
may even
time.
say if you invest your time on pre, you don't have to waste your time on post.
Vic always
That's
says,
beautiful.
measure twice, cut once type thing. So
Shut up, Victor. What? What's your wisdom?
Direct quotes
Shut
from
up, Victor.
Victor today.
All right.
So no.
I want to ask
No,
him,
no, no, no,
I
no.
want to ask
Listen.
him actually.
Yeah.
For musicians who
Yeah.
collaborate a lot and who have
Before we get there, though, I have a question. So let's say that
You're
everything.
full of questions today, aren't you,
everything.
buddy?
Somebody
you're
has to be.
good.
Somebody has to be. Let's say that you go through everything, right? You finish the edit. You went back to what is it called? The
Post-production? Editing?
But the shots that
Pickup shots.
Pickup. You finish everything.
Yeah.
How do you get it out there? How do you
Let me be
promote
honest.
it?
I do not know because I've never
I
done
actually
it.
I can take this one.
That's a good question.
I can take this one because I did it for a year for a film production company. It is a matter of having social presence on everything: LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of it. It's having a presence that's welcoming, that's approachable, and it's also very inviting to show your product off. Because for one, it is one thing to promote just like a physical product, but to promote actual like visual media or even music, you have to have like this strong social presence, and it's like TikTok and Instagram are the strong contenders for that, because people get that spreads like wildfire very quickly. You can literally become viral overnight just because of a TikTok.
So my last year of college, I was in a class called Film Festival Production, right? So what we did is that we grabbed a team of 20 people. It was the entire class. So each person took care of something different. But what we did was basically find a platform to actually showcase the talent, find the talent, and find a sponsor to want to get behind the talent. right? So now with streaming is amazing because you can literally just make like a big event that is happening from your house that you can watch on your computer. You find a sponsor to actually be able to pay for everything. We had around 750 submissions around the world.
Wow.
We said, hey, we're gonna have 5 categories. It was like action, comedy, romance, horror, and cartoon, like or anime or anything that is drawn, right? We didn't even know. We were from Florida Atlantic University. We just put it out and we were, hey, we're gonna do this showcase on a stream where the sponsor is gonna be connected to different film festivals. We are acting as an amateur film festival. They submitted it and the winner gets a connection with a sponsor, right? It was amazing to see the moment we put it out, submissions started coming.
Oh, yeah.
From Japan. There was some from some countries in Africa that were just like I don't even know how they filmed it, but they actually got into these places that looked like there was no technology around. So it was somebody from somewhere else that said, I want to get there. But they connected to Florida Atlantic University.
Shout out FAU.
Shout out FAU. So you can get through all these pre-production, production, post-production. What do you do with that? You have to put it out. You have to show it to people. You have to try to get it into a spot where you can actually get funding for it to actually become something else.
Yeah, the very important part for films specifically is to get them into literally every festival possible. That's what I learned at my old job. Any festival that will take you is good for you because it can be in the middle of Texas in an unknown town, or it could be literally in Sundance.
And that's just an application that you submit.
It's for the sake of just putting it out there and getting it to everywhere so people can see it. People can
You
talk
never
about
know
it.
who's watching.
Yeah. No,
you guys seen Whiplash?
Yeah.
Has Luke seen Whiplash?
So have you guys
Are
seen the
you
short?
rushing
Have you seen
or
the short?
directing?
I've seen the short. I know that whole story is incredible.
Yeah. It's amazing how that short got taken. There was the other movie that I was telling you about, Lights Out. It's like a horror movie where when you turn the lights off, it's like this little thing. When you turn it on, it's not there. And it's like, wow, it's scary. That entire movie came from a short that was probably less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Less than 2 minutes.
Wow.
I had a class in college called High Film, which is basically log lines, right? If you make a good enough log line, you just go somewhere, you sell it, and you make $5,000 up front, $30,000 on the back end. So if they end up making the movie, you're making $30,000 for literally 2 lines.
Yeah.
But it's all about selling that idea. Whether you have a producer or not, you have to sell your idea. Because otherwise you're doing film for fun, but you're not going to be able to support yourself and you're not going to be able to take it to the next level.
It just becomes a hobby at that point.
It becomes a hobby. And I love the people that are doing it for the love of art. That's great. But you have kids you have to feed. You have things you have to do.
You have a career. You have a future. And it's like, if you're really about this life, you got to, put your big boy pants on and kind of just step into the light.
And you want to make it you're not like you. Everybody says, "Oh, I don't want to have a 9 to 5." If you're doing creative stuff,
you can have more than a 9 to 5.
You have a 9 to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a 9 to 5 office job. That's easy. You go to the place, you get the money,
And you don't have a boss telling you what to do. As a creative, you have to figure it out yourself.
The deadlines are yourself.
Yep.
Right. So being a creative is extremely hard. Not only because you have to go through all these processes, you're doing it by yourself.
You gotta hold
Right.
yourself accountable.
True. I was gonna mention that because it's really easy. I was thinking in Portuguese the whole time. Like,
She was like translating every sentence we said.
Girl, you speak English. You don't need a translator.
No, yeah, I know.
Fala em português.
Bro, change the
I
language
was
setting.
thinking in Portuguese for a second, but well.
Bro, change the
I
language
was
setting in her head.
She goes closed captions. She's reading that shit.
For real. I was just gonna mention like how hard it is to be a creative and have to hold yourself accountable just because you don't have a boss that is telling you what to do 24/7. Right now I got like a bunch of commissions over the New Year's because I put my art a little bit out there, and having to commit to the schedules that I've made for myself has been
Who put this on my schedule?
It's
Oh
hard.
shit.
It is really hard. They're like, okay, yeah, I don't have to go to the office, but oh my god, having to look at my own schedule and be like,
I have to do that.
right? Is it time to be doing this right now? Like, and like, it's not a matter of like motivation anymore. It's just like, gotta get this done. We'll think about it later, but like, get to it now.
I like what you said about motivation because I think that a lot of us as artists, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Let's say you have a project, right? It's Monday. It's due Friday. Monday comes around and you're like,
I don't like that already.
only a week. chill. You have a week for it. You have a week for it. It's Monday and you're like, I'm not feeling too creative today. I think I'm gonna take care of myself, go to sleep early. Tomorrow I'm gonna wake up with a lot of creativity. Tuesday comes. I'm not feeling too creative today. Friday comes, all of a sudden you have to do it and you get it done, right?
Yeah.
And you may say, hey, I'm gonna send it a day later, but it took you 2 days. Why do you think we put that creative switch on when we need to? Like, why is there creative block?
I wouldn't say that's creative block. I think creative block is a different struggle.
What
I think
is
that's
creative
Okay,
block?
I wouldn't say creative block. I just think that pressure unleashes the creativity. It just onsets it.
So
You know what
when
I
you don't
mean?
have pressure, you don't.
The pressure like about a deadline, like in my case when I have like pieces to be delivered, it's about like, okay, I still have time, like 34 days still, like I'm gonna knock this piece out in like 7 hours, so I can do it 7 hours before I have to deliver it.
But how is that
think-
not creator's block?
No, but you know what I think that is? I think it's that like when we're under pressure, we don't ponder too much about the creative decisions we go through, and we kind of just we override it. And we're like, okay, that's good.
True.
And kinda
So
just go
the
through it.
opposite of that, how is that not creator's block?
Creative block is, in my opinion, entirely different. I feel like creative block is when you cease to actually have any ideas running through your mind that you want
I
to bring to
think that's.
fruition.
No, I feel
that's
like
that's
no.
not real. How
No.
can you not have ideas?
No, but
But
it's real.
Pookie,
It's
you're
real.
special.
Let me tell you something.
Your brain never stops
Okay.
working.
Yeah.
This moment before you get to like the pressure, like I have to start this right now or I won't deliver it. The moment before is just you overthinking. You're overriding on ideas. So you're waiting for the perfect moment to get the perfect idea to execute. But when
Yeah.
you're under pressure, you're like, yo, this works right now.
Yeah.
You know? And the moment before is just like you thinking like 3-4 possibilities and be like, yeah, this could be, and then you go to the gym to unwind and think clearly, and you take care of yourself, and then you take a bath or whatever. You're just like pondering on all these like
You just
paths.
ponder. You never make a decision.
Exactly.
You never put a foot forward.
Because you're
until it's,
waiting for the perfect moment.
Yeah.
The perfect moment, it's only formed when you're under pressure. Like, okay, yeah, I gotta write with this right now, or I'm not getting it done.
And you guys don't think that's creator's
No,
block?
no. Creator's block is entirely different. I've had friends. I've had friends.
How does it not relate to the fact that you're in a spot and you have
But
a
you
few
have the
ideas?
ideas. You're just
Yeah.
waiting for a perfect one to come. You
And
know?
not even. I think.
Creative block. It's when you cannot see it happening.
What's your opinion on creator's block? You've tried to start this sentence
Yeah.
like 3 times. I want to hear
No,
what you have to
you're
say.
good.
Go,
Look,
speak
because-
right now. Me and you, Nico. Let's go.
Because my friend Dimitri had creative block for
Shout
about
out
a year,
Dimitri.
and this is his entire life, right? Is painting his entire life. Dude, it is. I don't even worship.
I think if you had a deadline, that creator's block would be.
Hey, shut up.
It's
Let
not
him
about
speak.
commission. It's not about commission though. It's about personal passion projects. It's about like, what if you woke up one day and you can't like just make songs you just want to make anymore? Like sounds in your head just stop.
That's
I
a
agree.
nightmare.
But what if you actually had somebody that says, okay, that song, I'm going to pay you for it?
But here's the thing, that's different because if you're being commissioned by it, it's almost like a numbness to the quality of it because
That's
you
so
can't
true.
you can't tell the difference between what's good and what's bad because
True.
you're going through the thing where it's so blocked and blurry where it's like, okay, you know what, it's an idea, I'm gonna go for it. And sometimes it's not as good, but other times it works out, but it's not a way to live because you're constantly just not decisive as to your creative choices. But when you don't have a creative block, you know what the vision is. When people bring to you an idea or ask you for a song, you know what sound you want to bring to it. You know what you want to accomplish with it. With creative block, it's literally it's all numbing.
Yeah,
It's all numbing.
You cannot see it happen.
100% agree, especially in the art aspect. A commission, like you already know what to do. You already have the technical skills. It's just you're going
Exactly.
through the motions of
So-
it. It's like, okay, I know how to do this. This is what they want. Perfect, done. You
Exactly.
know, there's no creativity being brought
make
to
like
it.
half of the work is already done by them, like by
Exactly.
what they want.
Yeah.
So if they want me to like paint a bird, okay, yeah, I just have
Yeah.
to paint the bird.
But do you feel like any emotional kind of like connection to it in the sense of like, I think this is a great quality bird, or it's like, yeah, it's a bird.
It really depends.
It
really depends.
Yeah, I've illustrated a few books, and they were all, this is what we want, this is the storyline, and it was very easy. I just kind of visually had to come up with it, but I already had the story. I already had the characters laid out for me. Everything was already done, so it's just okay. I know how to draw. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me add some fun things in there that come to me in the moment, but it's already laid out for you.
For directors and for people who do visual stuff, creative block is insane. I had it the first half of last year because I bought a camera. I shot 1 or 2 things and then nothing. And then I couldn't think of a single idea that I wanted to go forward with that, let alone not even go forward with. Just I couldn't even think of anything. I had all this, all these tools on me. I had enough, freedom and all this stuff to go and shoot something with friends. Couldn't think of a single thing. And it like tossed in my brain
Yeah.
day and night because you want to
That's
go out
real.
and you want to create stuff because you have like this thing of like, oh man, I really want to put some effort into something. But then you think and you're just drawing blanks. And you don't know what's
When it
good or
comes
not.
to what like me and Jade were talking about, like actual like illustrators or like paintings and stuff. Some people they're gonna commission you in something. They don't know what else we were thinking. So like they don't know the 4 options that we had in our head. So whatever we end up like giving them as the final result, it's usually gonna serve them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a little different when it comes to like films and stuff and music because it comes down to like an overall vibe.
I think in general, when you have the creative block, you can't tell if it's like a good reflection of your own kind of like style and stuff versus or whether I guess it's just that you can't tell if that's a good reflection of it, or if it's like oh, this is just something that's very commercial, kind of like very basic, very guidelines.
Yeah, and I'd say working through creative block is also a struggle. Visually, art wise, if I have this urge to paint, I want to do something. I don't know what to create though. I have no fucking idea. There are no thoughts, head empty type shit, smooth brain. I will just sketch anything. I will just start sketching random things I see, just kind of warming yourself up into it, because sometimes even if you're not creative, you have to force yourself.
I am so glad you said that.
Yeah,
because that's where
back
I think
to your
the
weekly
counter
thing. Be fucking creative on Monday. Don't wait till Friday to be creative.
So I personally think, and
Creative Monday.
It's
Creative
when it comes
Monday.
down.
Shout out Creative Monday.
Shout out to Creative
Creative
Monday.
Monday.
Find the click. So
It's when it comes down to like discipline, not exactly motivation.
I agree with that, but I'm gonna disagree with a little bit of the rest, because I personally think that creative block is a fear of a bad product. So you have these ideas and you're like,
Valid.
oh, nothing is gonna be good. But what you said is important. Even if you don't think it's gonna be gonna be good, you have to do it, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to go through this whole process of actually trying to get creative, even though you don't think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
The only difference between doing it for yourself and for the deadline, this is what I was saying, the creator's block happens all the time, whether you're working for somebody else or working for yourself. The only difference is that somebody else is paying you and they have a deadline.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to have creator's block. But with ourselves, I have the whole year for this project. I'm going to have, if you give yourself 3 months to clean your room, you're going to clean your room in 3 months. If you give yourself 3 hours, you're going to clean it in 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's a little bit of a fear of like, this is not going to be good enough as my last project. Well, just try it.
I do also think that stems from, first off, being like when you become an artist, you go through like very like universal challenges. One of them, and I think the main one, is working based off motivation alone versus discipline, like you're saying. And I think that creative block comes from working off motivation alone. And the only way to essentially get out of it and to continue yourself into stuff that you actually like is to build discipline on creating stuff, just creating.
100%. Motivation comes from overcoming discipline.
It's basically getting rid of the junk, even the quote unquote bad ideas in your head, putting those out and creating it just so you can make room for the good ideas. But it builds that discipline of just constantly creating, where you're not stuck in that rut anymore.
I think I don't remember who said it, but when you have creator's block, it means you have no ideas. How is that possible? How can you have no? No, I'm serious.
I said
how can you
always,
have no ideas?
You always have
How
ideas. But the thing is
dare
that, like you said, like if you give yourself a deadline of 3 months, you're gonna get that accomplished in 3 months. If you give yourself a deadline of 3 hours, you're gonna get that accomplished in 3 hours. When you're doing something that is for yourself and you don't have anybody like commissioned it, or you don't have like a certain deadline, it's something that you do for yourself. It just comes down to like waiting for the right moment. And you're always waiting for the right moment. You're always waiting for the right moment. And you think like tomorrow's the day, and then the day after is the day. And you just keep waiting for the right moment. And there's no such thing as a right moment. We got to get creative on Mondays too, even if we don't feel like it.
And that's writing off the whole thing of only working through motivation, because it has its spurs of moments, but it's not sustainable in the long run as somebody who wants to take it seriously in their careers.
Keep yourself warmed up. I saw something about songwriting. Write a song every single day. Even if it's shit, still write it. Sketch something every day. Film something every day, even if it's on your phone. Edit a photo every day. Do something to keep yourself warmed up and in this process and keep your brain moving. So when that idea does hit, when that a brilliant idea makes it, you are already in the moment.
What do you have to say?
To quote Victor,
Again.
I know this one. I know this one.
forget your craft for a day, it
And
forgets you for 2. Drop that
In
on
high school, I remember
Let me
I would go to school, be on my computer trying to find sounds, get home and produce all day.
Yeah.
I've never had creator's block until I was probably 20, and then creator's block came because I would spend a week without making music, and then when I actually wanted to make music, I was like, what do I want to do? That never happened when I was doing it every day.
I would
Creator's
say
block wasn't real.
personally, I've never experienced creator's block as the way you guys talk about it, where I'm just like out of ideas, not feeling creative. But talking about acting specifically, like when you're on set, you're not allowed to be blocked.
Oh, yeah.
You're wasting
100%.
people's
Because
money and their time.
on real productions, minutes are thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
and they just won't let you. They will say, "We're gonna film this tomorrow, and you better have your shit ready."
True.
And that's not a thing of preparation. Like if you have your lines down, if your performance isn't there, you better have it there. But I mean, when you're doing a self-tape, say you have a few more days to get it done. If you're not feeling it, acting is all about energy, and the actor has to be feeling it. And sometimes you really have to push through and find the energy deep within you. But if you're one night and you're just like, you have your lines down, but you're not getting the performance you want, take a day, because you need to be feeling right to give the right performance.
But on set, learn to have an on and off switch. I am not the same person I am when I am on set filming, doing whatever, than I am around here. You know, you just turn it on and then you turn it off. Like, save those bursts of energy. Figure out some way to, I don't know how I do it. I just know that I do it.
Because you know what? The actress Jade is not the Jade.
No,
Because
exactly.
Jade could be having like the best day of her life, and she's super happy. But actress Jade has to shoot like a shitty scene.
Yeah, exactly.
And she has to be in character.
Yeah, that's if you're really deep into it and you just stay in character. I mean,
I went when we were doing our short film. I had to be really sad. I had to do like a 5-minute crying scene. So I took myself away, got all sad and shit, and went on. You know, you just have to. You're going way off topic.
No, well, about creator's block, the only way I could kind of relate to it is doing a self tape. If you're not getting the right performance you want, or you don't know how to play a scene, you just have to shoot shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, doing it in your head, it's not gonna help you. Saying it, in your head, what if I do this way?
Say it out loud.
What
If
I
you
do it
have
this
somebody
way?
who's directing you, I do it with Luke all the
Look
time.
in the mirror, yell at a wall, just keep doing it.
That's my point. The creator's block is only going to be overcome by just
Doing
doing
it.
whatever you can.
Even
do.
if it's bad,
Yeah.
even if it's complete shit, put yourself on camera, watch it back, and you'll say, "Oh, I don't like that." Maybe
I know
if I
what I
change
like.
just one thing,
Exactly.
then you're gonna get an idea. Then you're gonna start getting creative again. And the only thing I can compare it to is like editing. And editings usually have deadlines because that's post production. And that's
Yeah.
kind of near the end of the project, and you need to get shit done. Throw shit at the wall. I mean, even if you don't really have any creative direction for what you want the project to look like, get your pieces laid out and start assembling it. And then along the way, as you watch it, you can kind of get a vibe for it. That's all I have to say.
That's
I mean,
great.
it might also be referenced in like further works, because like I've done shitty paintings, but I've learned a certain way to like manipulate the paint on the brush that I used further on a piece that I was actually working out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
No,
it-
100%.
It teaches you something at least.
Yeah,
And if
you're
you
always learning.
Yeah, and if you finish something, then you have the opportunity to look back at it and be like, it wasn't my proudest moment, not my best work of art, but I can look back at it and I can
True.
see where I messed up and how to prevent that from happening in the
Yes.
future.
That's exactly how I feel about the piece that's out there. The one that I spent like
And
fucking
also-
5 days on. I was like, I hate it. Burn it.
And also like think on it for a second. Like if you're always like hold your creative moments for all of your best moments, how are you supposed to practice ever? You know?
Yeah.
Like you have to have like practice days and like game on days.
Let yourself fail.
100%.
Be
And that's really hard to
comfortable.
learn.
Yeah.
I think it's all about being constantly ready. It's like forget your craft for a day or forget you for two. You always need to be ready to create because you never know when you're going to get that audition, that commission, that song that you need to write or perform. You always need to be on top of your game and keep yourself
Yeah.
prepared to get creative.
Yeah, like you said, you never know who's watching.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what it is? The worst thing you could do is half-ass it. Half-assing
Oh,
anything
yeah.
you do. You know, maybe you might win, you might lose, maybe it might be shit, bad, good, bad, whatever. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. It's just a matter of just doing it fully, committing yourself.
Your all.
Give it your
Give
all.
it- give
Do
it your all,
your
because-
best.
But
because you can't half-ass everything because you're gonna sit up at night wondering, man, I wonder what it would have been like if I actually tried on that.
don't half-ass, but also don't be such a perfectionist that you never like fully finish anything. Don't be such a perfectionist that you don't get stuff out the door.
And finishing it that's the hardest part.
Better done than perfect. Another Victor quote.
And also,
And
and
if you
also
half-ass
remembering,
something, how are you going to sit down?
and also remembering that there is not. Remember, there is never the perfect moment. Like the perfect moment never comes.
No.
That's
the
what-
perfect moment is the moment that you start acting.
And
on
that's
it.
why I reiterate, staying on top of your game is the most important thing because you never know when you get the opportunity to perform. And when you're ready to perform, you need to be at the top of your game. You need to be the best you that you can be.
Yeah.
Period.
Period.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. So let's recap. In 2024, for all creatives, all you need to do is reach out to the people around you, do a project, get those ideas from your head into actual paper. And music, modeling, painting, acting, whatever it is, there's a pre-production, always getting that idea down.
Collaboration.
There's a production where you're actually making it happen, and then there's the post-production where you're just making everything perfect to be actually taken out
And distribute.
and distribute. Once you have those products, the most important thing, like you guys said, is you're going to be reaching out to people, knowing everybody. So networking in the creative space is probably, if
Number
not the
one.
most important
Yeah.
part. Even though there's all this process that you can actually get done, there's going to be times where you're going to have creator's block. So what we said today was the only way to get over that is to be able to do art every single day, even if it's not your best art, even if it's instead of a painting, a little notebook.
Yeah.
Instead of a song, a little voice note.
Yeah.
Instead of a full movie, a little self-tape. Right? There's always something that we can do. How can you add to just make that an artist? So there's the process. There's the things that block you. Now, what are the things that you love about that for yourself as an artist? You know, there's a whole process. There's the things that you have to go over. What makes you the artist? What makes you the
Being
artist?
the artist is actually the journey of experiencing all of those high and lows.
Yeah.
I
would
think
put
that's it. I think we need to end
That's
it
the best way to say it. Yeah.
That's it. Podcast
being,
over.
being the
Thank you
artist
guys for
is
watching.
experiencing the whole journey because you're gonna have high days, low days,
Yeah.
and that's it. You're there. You're sticking for all of these, and you're just enjoying the journey. Because honestly, you're never gonna see an end line. Because whenever you reach whatever goal that you think you're like striving for, once you hit that goal, you're just gonna be like, oh, but actually, I can do a little bit more, and then just keep going. So don't ever focus your attention on the goal, and honestly, enjoy the journey because that's the best part, and that's
Yeah.
probably gonna last for the rest of your life.
Friends
And
we make
check-
along the way.
The last thing I'm gonna add is that remember, even if you wake up and you do the shittiest art of your life, it is better than not doing anything at all that day.
Yep.
You're still you still got one up on that. Even if you wake up and make nothing art, you still did something, and that's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So to close it, I want to hear from everybody briefly
Yeah.
the highest and lowest points in your creative careers.
Ooh.
We're new, so that there hasn't been
The-
everything, but there has been highs and lows. So what's
Yeah.
been the highest and the lowest? Tell me.
Well, before we move
quickly.
on completely, I would say going back to the things that you can do daily and things that you would advice you'd give for other people, I would say is even not creating art for yourself, but helping people around you who have similar interests. Like even if I obviously not many actors have a self-tape every day that they can work on. So when my friends come over and they ask for help on their self-tapes, I'm also working on my craft because I get to see another actor read a script. I'm like, that's not exactly how I play, but I like their way better. So even helping people around you, that can definitely help you in your own processes.
That's huge.
Well, yeah.
Back to what you were saying. So,
Oh yeah, but
Highest
you want
and
to start it
lowest.
off?
Yeah.
fuck.
Highest and lowest.
I don't know.
If you want, I can go. If you
Yeah, go ahead,
think
go
about it.
Give us the highest.
We'll start with the lows. It's the lows of being in the art was kind of making stuff out of spite, out of kind of like just anger, where it's like it was directed towards people, but in vague ways, and it's like it's good to release that in a way, and it's good to transform that into something, but at the same time, I don't like making stuff out of negative feelings. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm putting my effort into hope, into a lot of the more positive kind of ideas and thoughts. So I guess that was one of my lows.
And
Just-
I wanna challenge you to give
To a
me
fight.
another answer. Yeah. But I want to know right now, and this is for everybody.
Yeah.
Give me a
What's been the
specific.
highest now?
Give me a specific
high?
moment
I was gonna say my high, yeah.
where you felt whatever project you were doing as the highest. You can say the project. You don't have to if you want to.
my
and the
my
lowest.
documentary right now is my highest
That's your
because
highest? Why?
because I personally, first off, I've known Dimitri for a while. He's my friend. He's one of my best friends, and it's like knowing the world he comes from, knowing who he is. It's such a awe-inspiring thing. I'm grateful enough to capture that and to kind of like put an investment into all that and have that out there in the world because I'm gonna see where he goes, and I know from like the bottom of my heart he's gonna be 100% successful. And being there and being able to witness that and being able to make something out of his entire story, it is something that I always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do documentary.
That's it.
And
What's
so
the
this
lowest?
the lowest. It's
And I want to know like a time and a place where creativity
Yeah.
took you to a very low spot.
I think a low is basically just I used to write a lot. I still write a lot, and it's like I used to write short stories. Used to write a bunch of anthology type stuff. So my lows was kind of like at points where I was bitter at a person for a while, for like a long time when I was in high school, and all I did was write about like the bitterness I felt towards them and just the spite and a lot of negative feelings where it was like that's all I could ever do. It wasn't anything too intense. I wouldn't say anything crazy, obviously, but at the same time, it's like looking back because I found one of them like a few weeks ago when I was cleaning out my room. I was like, man, I was just hurt. I was just really hurt, and I was saying shit that I didn't mean. And it was like, I'm glad nobody ever saw this, but I just felt ashamed as an artist that I decided to put out this negative stuff and craft that into like art.
And that was in the past, right?
Past.
The craziest thing is that the lowest happened before, and you're at the highest right
Yeah.
now. So you've been on a upward. right?
Yeah.
Only going up.
We're so back.
And
We're
that's
so back.
and that's kind of why I wanna talk about the specifics of the lows and highs, because
Yeah.
as creatives we're very abstract. We always like to say art is a beautiful thing. When you think, okay, give me a time where that has happened so you
Yeah.
can reflect on that, right?
Yeah.
And that's why specifics are important. But highs and lows.
Let's go with the highest. The highest that, like productivity wise and like just creation wise, just like putting stuff out there. The highest I've been is when I've been hurt the most. So
Give me a time where the piece that came out was the highest, and what was that piece?
well, I'll make like a comparison
need
because my
receipts.
highs. Sorry.
The receipts.
Okay, my highs, they are really, really similar to my lows, but the variant is like whether or not they're growing in like positive and negative. They're still like close to zero, but it's whether or not it's like +1 or -1.
Okay.
They're very close to the same like level. My lowest low was when I stopped painting for probably like close to a year, like in general, because I had a dream of a painting. And I painted that. I painted that image, and that image actually came through like a week later. It was a picture of someone with their chest open, and I had someone in my family pass away from an open chest surgery. So that actually scared me for a long time, and I didn't want to touch paint like at all. But at the same time, the highest that I've been is when I also lost somebody, not physically, but I lost somebody that was really important in my life. And this person is no longer a part of my circle, and we just like broke off and whatever. And that sent me into a spiral of like, I cannot let this like loss beat me down, because you know what? I'm not gonna grieve someone that is alive. So that sent me to a whole nother spiral of making like positive art. So whatever feeling I was feeling bad, I was like, I'm not gonna manifest this, because I was so afraid I was gonna manifest. Like the other one did. I was like, whatever negative feeling I have, I'm not gonna put that into a canvas. I'm gonna spin it to like the exact opposite and paint the good part of it. So, and that sent me to like a whole 6-month spiral of like putting art every other week. So like it was both losses, but like different losses,
But
if you know what I
chose
mean.
what part of the loss you're gonna paint. You chose the negative for the negative one, and then for the other one, you chose to see on the brighter side.
I was
and
like, yeah,
write about that.
this is not where it stops. So like, yeah, I have only to go up from here, because you know what? Before this one, I've lost so many things already. I'm not putting that on a canvas. I'm flipping it around and just like putting out there that I want the best to come out of it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool. What about
Jay?
who wants to go first?
Twins.
Did it make sense?
Twins.
That makes sense.
Oh, it made 100%
That was beautiful.
It
sense.
made so much
That was
sense.
very
Story
beautiful.
makes
Thank you for
sense.
sharing, by the way.
That was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Shout out Victoria.
Shout out
Shout out Victoria.
She's here, but shout out.
Shout out. Do you want to go? Do you want me to go?
Sure, I'll go. It all started when I was born.
The highest.
Start the highest?
When I was
thought that was
born,
the
that was my highest
when I was
ever.
born. Yeah, highest ever. I was born.
Off the
The world changed forever that
It's
day.
been downhill since ever.
December 21st, 2005.
It was
I
like
would
it was like Tangled. He came out with like this golden hair and everything.
Shut up.
It came out like this.
I'm trying to think where to start with this. Well, I started acting when I was 8, and I've been acting for pretty much as long as I can remember. So I'd say the lowest point would probably be when COVID hit, because I just finished filming a movie, and I was about to go into the 4th season of a TV show I was on. So it was almost going to be the high of my career probably, and then COVID hit, tanked everything. So I'd say probably first 3-4 months of COVID, it was so dead. Everything was quiet because we were also planning on moving to LA very shortly right before COVID hit. And then LA completely went ghost town for a year or two.
Yeah.
So that really put kind of a halt in the acting career. But I'd say the high was probably beginning of 2023, because I started filming more. I got my own camera. I went to Red. I took their cinematographer's class, and I started editing more and just getting into more of the all-encompassing production rather than just being an actor. Because I've said this for a while, is if you do almost every job in production, it's going to make whatever job you're doing a lot easier and communicate with everybody a lot easier. If you've been in the shoes of a director, you're going to know what you want to get out of an actor, and then when you're an actor, you're going to understand what a director's saying.
Yeah.
So I'd also say is, I started editing, I started filming, and I started playing guitar, and I just felt a lot more creative.
Nice.
And
done
it's
a
been on an
lot.
upward trajectory since
What a
then.
high.
Man,
yeah.
man keeps going. Man
You should
keeps
be
going up.
very proud of yourself this past year. You've done a lot of good stuff.
I'm very proud of you.
I'm proud of Nico.
Shout out to Luke.
Shout out to Luke.
I'm proud of all you
Pookie
guys.
Bear for real.
Shout out, Luke.
Pookie Bear.
All right.
A bookie wookie.
Enough of me. Good
Yeah.
go.
Alrighty. So my highs and lows are definitely very intertwined, I'd say. And I've had this similar experience both in acting and in visual arts. You said you were the most creative when you're in a happy place. I will agree with you by saying my lows are when I'm feeling the most inspired, because however I decide to express myself in said scenario, I really enjoy the journey of bringing myself out of a low place and being able to express those emotions and feelings and then being on the other side of it and then reflecting back at it. I feel like it's a very much a learning process for myself. I feel like honestly, one of my most proud pieces that I've done that I really haven't shown anybody, but it came from a very, very, very dark place, and I finally was able to visualize it, express it, and I felt just a weight lifted off my shoulders.
Yes.
You know, so
It honestly feels like purging.
it does. It's an incredible feeling. So the lows and the highs are very intertwined for me. Same, like that's a visual art example. Acting wise, I was in a big rut a few years ago. Just mentally could not work myself through it. And then when I finally did, it was the best feeling. It felt like I got myself back. I was, I felt me again. I like the experience of feeling the lows and then being able to experience the highs on the other side. So it's just like this all the time.
It's a roller coaster, baby.
It is.
Yeah. Oh,
That's how I interpret that.
thank you for sharing.
All right.
Oh.
Andres,
Yeah.
Best for last.
Andres, Frederick, Freddie.
Frederick.
He goes by
Frederick,
many
if you
names,
may.
but I know him
Tip
as
hat.
Pookie Bear.
Pookie Bear.
I want to
So-
hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Where have your highs and lows been in your
All
life?
right, so highest was definitely playing Sunfest and at the ground at Club Space.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yes.
Definitely the highest
Yes.
because
That's when Nico met you.
that was definitely
Damn, that Nico, that's the
of
highest
night.
one of my life.
I say we tell that story on every podcast.
Every single time. But it was basically just the result of the whole process. Making the song, getting the song produced, sending it to the engineer, getting the song to the band, posting it, sending it to people, applying to the festivals, getting to a festival, practicing for it, and then after all that, you play for 30 minutes and then it's over. But that's the result of everything else, right? And then for the negative is also very similar. You go through the whole thing. So you write the song, you get it done, you play the festival, you do whatever. And then you realize that something that we talked about last time is the art for yourself or for the other person. I am currently in a contract where some of the creativity and the creative direction of the project is not solely based on my thoughts. It's based on different people. And some of those people are not part of the band. So the music direction is coming from somebody who's not involved in the music. And the lowest for me was at a time where nothing I was writing was good enough for other people. And it made me realize that I don't want to do music if it's not for myself. The audience, that's kind of what I'm going for. But if you're not the audience, I don't care what you have to say. If you don't want to listen to the music, don't listen to it. Don't talk about it. Don't do it. Somebody asked, is the music for the audience or for the listener? It's for the audience. But the first person in the audience is the musician, right? So you have to do it for yourself if you want to actually do it. But the lowest point was doing it for somebody else. You know?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The
Wow.
highest and lows.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Yes.
definitely.
Thank you for
Because
sharing.
it
Commission work.
it takes a toll on you as an
Yeah,
artist.
It's like, no,
you know?
it's like, this is
Yeah.
me. It's like, fuck,
right.
I'm just doing this for somebody
It
else.
takes your skill, and it's like, yeah, you get paid for it, but at the same time, you kind of lose the passion around it. It dims. The passion doesn't go away, but it just dims, and it doesn't feel as connected to you as most of your art.
And it's something that we have to get over because
Yeah.
if we want to be full-time artists,
No, we gotta do it. We gotta
Then we gotta do it.
I have a question for Frederick. So you say the high of performing. What does it feel like after? Because I've heard that that's a big drop. It's like
post-concert
serotonin,
depression.
It is
and then it's just down.
horrible. It is horrible. So you go for 2 months practicing for this huge thing, right? And I'm not a big artist. I'm not famous. I'm not.
Oh,
nothing.
come on.
Listen. But then for some reason, we ended up getting into the main stage, right? Steve Aoki played before us.
Yeah.
I am watching Steve Aoki in front of me. He looks at me and he's like, "Are you guys ready?" Like I'm about to get off. He comes off. I literally see Steve Aoki and his luscious hair just come in front of me, and he just goes like, and I'm shaking. He's calm. He's like, "Oh, I just did a thing." Before stage, he was just coming onto the stage. He gets into a stage. And he's a professional. There's thousands of people in front of him, and he's like super calm. He gets on the board immediately. What's up, everybody? Like so much energy, right? So I'm like, is that what I'm supposed to do? Like, so I see this man come off, and we get on. We have 10 minutes to like sound check, and then I'm sound checking whatever the things happen. We get off backstage. We make a little, what is that called? Like a huddle?
Yeah.
So we do a little huddle, and we're like, all right, we got this. We're doing this. Steve Aoki, Baby Jake is playing after. AJR is coming after. This is a lineup, right? We get on it, and I black out. I'm not drinking. I'm just
Adrenaline.
Yeah. Adrenaline rush.
gone. So it just happens. And after the show, there's people asking for pictures. They're like, can I have your autographs? There's kids who are so shy, their parents have to ask for them, right? So for me, that is an adrenaline rush like nothing I've ever experienced. The day after that is over.
Wow.
Nobody's gonna mention how was Sunfest.
It's Suicide Tuesday all of a sudden.
It is literally
Wow.
just a moment of emptiness, right? It's almost like you just went to the biggest project. It lasted 30 minutes. You practiced 2 years for that, and then it's over. After that, I will say, for 2 weeks, it's like withdrawals. Right? You did a drug, and you're in your bed. You don't want to get out. You just want that drug again, right? You just want that.
Put me on stage. Where's Steve Aoki?
I need to go there.
I need him.
But even that wasn't as bad as doing music for somebody else. Even though, even
There's
though
nothing worse.
chemically, it was just like my brain needed that whatever dopamine, serotonin. But I knew there was like in 2 weeks I would be fine. I was like, there's gonna be another show. But writing for somebody else, doing that music for somebody else, even if it's just commission, it just felt like, is that what I'm doing for the rest of my life? Like, is this it? That's my life. So, after a show, it was really rough, but it's crazy how physical reactions is not going to be anywhere near as bad as a mental battle that will constantly go for weeks, months, years. You can have physical reactions to missing something, and that's valid. It's your brain needs a chemical that is not being produced. But when you're totally okay, you're happy, you have money, but you're writing for somebody else, it's like a mental battle where like, I'm fine. Why am I so sad? My family's fine. I have food. I have a place to live. I can do art whenever I want, and I'm getting paid for it. But
there's nothing worse.
And then as an artist, you feel like such a dick. You're like, oh my god, like I'm so like grateful, but not like. It's like you don't know what to do.
Very grateful, but also sad.
You don't know what to do. And it's a very confusing thing.
You're doing the work, and you're quiet doing your work, and all you hear in the back of your head is, sell out.
Straight up. It's like,
who the fuck said that?
But it's just Andreas. He's just saying it to
like your
himself.
little kid self just looking at you like, nah.
It's like in Spider-Man when the Green Goblin mask is talking to Willem Dafoe.
It's literally like that.
Sell out.
I think you go through a lot of highs and
cycle.
lows. There's the pre-production, there's the production, there's the post-production. Then you have to reach out to people. Even after that, you finish your first project. You get your movie out. It's in a film festival. All right, the next project may just be a complete block of creativity. You get over that. You get that project done. All right, the next one is going to be the same battle. And it's an ongoing battle for all creators. So now, starting 2024, we're starting our battle. We're starting it with the audience. Everybody's going to have their own battle.
Yeah.
But we're here to do it together. And I loved that when I asked, what do you need to actually make a project? Everybody said, you need your friends. You need your family. You need people that are in the same boat as you. So we talked about a lot, but I think the number one thing is always going to be being connected with other creators and people that see
having a community.
100%.
So, this is all about the community, and we want to help out.
Yeah, and I think ending on that, this podcast is about a community. It's more than us. I feel like going forward, you're going to see us, but you're also going to see us with new creatives, people that we may know, people that we don't know, but happen to live in the same world. We don't know. You'll see all of us individually host. Maybe Paloma too one day.
If she ever decides to stay past 8 p.m.
John, stop playing basketball all the
John,
time.
get your ass
John,
over here.
to get here.
Overall, I want Chaos Clubhouse to be a community. I want this to be a community of creatives who can come on here, amplify their voices, and we can connect and see where this takes us, So
I love it. So, to close it, what's the idea for the next podcast? Let's get it right now so you know what's coming. Give me ideas. Let's
I
do
think
this little-
Nico has a little hit list he made.
I got a little hit list. I
So
can't
what's
reveal it
the
right
next podcast?
It might be you with another lead singer from another band that I know.
So we're doing a music podcast.
It might be
Holy
music podcast.
shit, things are happening.
It might be a girl. It might be a girls' night with Jade, Paloma, and Victoria.
We need it.
Girls podcast.
It might be. It might be. It might be Luke, me, and our friend Paul, and being young filmmakers
Shout
in the
out
business.
Paul.
We
Shout
don't
out
know.
Paul for the second time.
Everybody. I think
Next
overall,
podcast
the next
is-
the next podcast is to be tuned. I mean, we have to see. We have to see. It'll be full of surprises, and I hope you guys are excited for it. Yeah.
All the ways from KS Clubhouse, we would like to say
Thanks for stopping by the Clubhouse. We'll see you next time. Yes. Subscribe, like, comment down below. Comment how sexy Andreas is.
Exactly.
Cut.